Everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to talk equipment for matches. I would like to tell you guys that I was going to be at Klash Bash this year, and I had every intent of going. I had my tickets bought, I had the rental car booked, I had the hotel booked, and me and a buddy of mine were going to go, and he called me up about, I guess it was about a week ago at the time of this filming, and said, hey man, I talked to him on the phone. I mean, he was absolutely sick. Short story long, he ended up with severe flu and likely COVID as well, and which, you know, he fully offered for, hey, just go on, you know, I'll still pay my half, blah, blah, because we were splitting the cost of the hotel and the car. And I just couldn't do it to him. So my intent was this was going to kind of be the intro to a series of Klash Bash videos. Unfortunately, that's not the case. However, we're still going to talk about some things today, some things that can get you ready for matches like that. I took a lot of advice. I took some advice from Clayco's video, and just kind of came up with some things on my own. And we're just going to talk about that here today. Some of the things that you need to be mindful of if you're going to be going and shooting some competition similar to that, whether it's Klash Bash, whether it's Lethal Weapons. And oh, by the way, I'm going to tell you right now, even though I can't go to Klash Bash this year, I am definitely signing up for Lethal Weapons. So at some point in time this fall, I'm hoping to compete in that and actually get some video footage for you guys. Now, one of the things that Clayco stressed in his videos right off the bat was the fact that in those matches you need chamber flags, and those chamber flags will be checked. So I went out to Amazon, got some chamber flags. Of course, these show that these are indeed unloaded. By the way, YouTube, in case you've got an issue. But I got a whole box of these chamber flags. It was actually cheaper to get a box full than it was just get two individually. And you guys can check that out. I thought those were kind of cool. They were relatively inexpensive, but just something good to use. I want to say it was like maybe $17 for a box of like 10. Super cheap. Of course, you can see them. I've got them in my setup here. We're going to talk about that real quick. What was I going to take? Well, so I was going to compete in the heavy optics category. So we're going to talk about my Zastava M70 here. Now, this one is largely stock. The only thing that I've done is I've added a Hogue overmolded rubber grip to it. Of course, I've added that Zastava rail, and I've also added a Holosun HE510C. I absolutely love the Holosun optics. Those things are awesome. I bought Holosun before they got super popular and got super, well, before demand kind of drove prices up. Actually bought, at the time, I bought two Holosun HE510C GRs for the cost of what I was going to spend on the EOTech. Now, I'm not hating on EOTech, but I will state, for me and my astigmatism, EOTech does not work. I have to have a green optic, which is better for people with astigmatism, and this Holosun is the one I chose. Nice thing is, it's got that solar power backup, so if you're running a match, it's daylight, your battery dies, you still got a solar backup, which is really nice. Now, this does have a shake awake feature. Of course, that's only activated if you have your HE510C on and you let it go into sleep mode. That's when your shake awake becomes active. If you just turn it off and you go to pick it up, then no, it's not going to come back on like it's like, you know, the shake awake like you would think. What else have I done to this? The only other thing I've done is I added this Class 7 Depot muzzle brake. You guys will notice that's very similar to another type. If you go out and check my video on that Pioneer Arms 20-inch sporter, you'll see that that came with that rifle. I decided to put it on here to help out in the match. Now, another thing, let me get this out off camera, is, you know, like I said, that's all I've done to this rifle. I've done nothing else to it. It doesn't have an ALG trigger, doesn't have any of that stuff in there, which I might explore that at some point. I don't know. Now, if you guys go back and reference the video where I got those Romanian Battlefield pickup mags, that's what this is here. a lot of you would probably think, oh, well, why don't you do the Yugo bolt hold open, you know, whatever. Well, there's a reason for these. Now, these Battlefield pickup mags, for whatever reason, I'm guessing because they're broke in really well, I went through all my mags. I've got a bunch of different mags from different countries, and these inserted and removed more easily than any other mags that I own. Now, they may be more out of spec, but, you know, they were the fastest to insert and remove from the rifle. So that's why I chose these Romanian Battlefield pickups. So that's the setup that I was going to do in the heavy optics category. Now, for the subgun match, I was going to run this. I call it a Colt clone. It's absolutely not a Colt clone, but it's sort of like it. So this is my 9mm AR upper. Now, one thing you will notice is, once again, it's got the Hogue overmolded rubber grip. Has standard Magpul MOE furniture, standard A2 handguard. Now, the interesting thing is this utilizes the Colt pattern 9mm mags, but whether it be Colt, whether it be metal form, which I think they made those for Colt, or whether it be Duramags. What I find to work well in this are the Duramags. Let me get this out off camera. And I will show you something else. I don't know how well you guys can see that. That is a Han Precision magwell adapter. It has that 9mm magwell adapter. Now, the nice thing about that Han Precision magwell adapter is you can still hit your mag release button and drop that mag out, and your magwell still stays intact because it's a top loading. You literally have to, you break the rifle in half. Well, not break it, but you open it up, drop your magwell adapter down in there, and it still allows you to utilize that same mag release. Now, additionally, what I've got in here is a Rise Armament 3.5-pound pull trigger, drop-in trigger group. Of course, this one also has the Holosun HE510C GR. And one thing in particular that I didn't talk about is I'm running on this one. This is a Viltor. This is that extended long latch. Now, this is not to be confused with the current batch of BCM gunfighters. Of course, BCM gunfighter and Viltor had an agreement back in the day, and they went to court over it, and the Viltor products disappeared for quite some time. Well, now, I think in recent years, or in the last few years, they've got their own website up and running, and you can buy these directly from the manufacturer. I love these charging handles for the AR. They are my absolute favorite, and you can't convince me otherwise. I even have a Radian Raptor. I still prefer this. Anyway, so that was going to be my setup for the 9mm subgun, of course, or for the subgun category. Of course, I would have fell into the free world category, but once again, I was going to run this Holosun HE510C. I had just a standard A2 birdcage flash hider on it. I thought about putting a muzzle brake on it, but it's really not necessary on this rifle. It's got such a low recoil impulse anyway. So let's get that stuff out of the way. All right, let's talk Ear Pro. So the Ear Pro that I was going to use was this Axle tracker electronic. These are really comfortable. I really do like these. And I basically bought 2 of these. I want to say for right at $100. They run promotions at different times on their website and run deals on their Ear Pro. It's pretty nice. It's got, you know, the volume rocker here on the side. It's very, very similar to the Walker's Razors, but a lot of people say that these have better sound quality than the Walker Razors. Of course, you got this LED indicator for when you click this on. I think it takes 2 AAA batteries. Now, it also has a 3.5mm headphone jack port. So if you want to run MP3 player, if you want to run something else plugged into that, and just listen to stuff, listen to music, whatever, while you're shooting, you can do that. Now, they also make these in Bluetooth capable. I opted just for this, just because I don't need anything super snazzy, but I did want a set of electronic muffs. That way I could hear the range master, you know, giving the signals, all that good stuff, and hear what was going on around me and have situational awareness. I'll probably also use these deer hunting, to be honest. So I really like these. They're really comfortable. I actually saw a CMP or an RSO at the CMP in Talladega wearing these, and that's how I found out about them, and I like them. Got a great deal on them too. So one of the other things you got to think about when you're running those matches, mag pouches. Now, some people run chest rigs, and some people run mag pouches. Now, this is what I got. This was recommended by Clayco. Let's see if I can get this out where you guys can see it. So this is the G code setup. This is 3 rifle mag pouches, 3 pistol mag pouches, plus associated setup. So you can do this with Molly, you can do this with their belts, and it's just a really snug mag pouch. Of course, this kind of gives you an idea. I don't know how well you guys can see it. There's the clips on the back, and it kind of just clips down, locks in. There's actually locking tabs you put on the bottom here, so there's absolutely no way this can come off your Molly system. And you'll put your AK mags, AR mags, whatever down in here. And it's kind of rubberized, but also kind of a canvas. It's like a rubberized canvas. It's probably actually all just rubber, but with the elastic in here, you guys can see there's a lot of give, and you can actually adjust it here on the back side in order to accommodate wider mags. I do like these. So if you're going to be doing any rolling around, crouching, whatever, your mags will definitely stay secure in here. And if you adjust these out to where you got quite a bit of the slack in it, it typically will allow you enough room to yank that mag out, because you don't want it to get hung up in there. Of course, I've got the pistol ones too, and this is what I was going to use for those Colt 9mm mags. Now, I will say these are not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. They're actually quite expensive. I want to say for this 6-pouch setup, it cost me $200, very close to it. But you know, I intend on using this not only for Clash, or intended not only using it for Clash Bash, but other competitions as well. And it's likely going to be used at Lethal Weapons this year. Let's see. Now, when going to these matches, one of the things Clay recommended is that you got to have some way of transporting all your stuff. So you got to have something for your rifles, you got to have something for your mag pouches, everything. You need something. Well, a lot of people will use a baby stroller. He said he's seen those before. A lot of people will use the wagons, the collapsible wagons like you'll see at baseball parks and stuff like that. So I opted actually for a collapsible wagon. Picture up here in the top left. I can't show it on the table because it's huge. But I also opted for these. It's called Pack Rack. And the nice thing about these gun racks, or gun and bow racks as they're marketed, if I can get this thing open, every time I close it back it's got some issues. But anyway, so the nice thing about this is these are nice and rubberized. Actually, the whole thing's rubberized, so your gun stock actually sits down in here and sits pretty secure. But the cool thing is the attachment style. So you've got all this attachment hardware, and the way this works, I'll show you on the picture. It's easier to show you on the picture. Is you see how you've got these clamps. The cool thing is you can attach this to the front, and then you can actually rotate this entire portion to line up with your rifle butt. So you can have it attached one way, and the whole thing will rotate. So it gives you free range of motion in order to figure out, okay, well, what's the best position for my rifle in this wagon or whatever. And you can see right here, somebody's even actually got one mounted to a baby stroller. But anyway, I opted for these, and if I get to go to Lethal Weapons, which I fully expect to, once I get this thing back in here. Depending on the setup of that match, I'll probably be taking my wagon in this. Now, the other thing, actually, I'm going to pause the video real quick right here because I forgot to grab a couple items to put on the table. I'll be right back. Alright guys, sorry about that. So there's a couple more things I wanted to tell you about. When you go to these matches, make sure you bring an ammo can. Sorry for my voice. Sinuses are really bad right now with everything blooming. Because the reason you want to bring an ammo can is because Clay recommended bringing, I think it's around 300, 350 rounds per match that you're shooting. So an ammo can is just a good way to do that. I've just got, let's see, in here, you know, I've just got all kinds of ammo dumped in here, along with a spare mag. But you can easily throw that in your baby stroller, in your wagon, whatever. Now, something I had intended on doing for you guys, let's find this. This is pretty cool. Was I was going to do some first-person video while running the match. I'll show you guys this real quick. If you can see it, you may not be able to. This is called an Action Camera Cantilever Picatinny Weaver Gun Rail Side Mount Adapter compatible with GoPro Hero. It's a mouthful. But what this is simply a piece of aluminum. I'll show you guys how this works. One side mounts on your pick rail, the other side your GoPro hooks into, and it's got screw holes that actually will clamp this on there and secure it with the screws in here along with the Allen key. Now just to give you an idea of what this would look like, let's say I was going to put it on my AR. So one way to do that, actually let me get the GoPro on here first, because that's going to be the biggest pain in the tail. Okay, so there's the GoPro in there. So then what I was going to do is I was going to slip that onto my pick rail onto the front. I was going to secure that, and then as you're running the match, you get your GoPro recording the whole thing. Get some pretty cool shots. Plus, you know, you can kind of see it's pretty much out of the way. I was going to do the same thing with AK actually, just to get some footage from what it's like to run at Klash Bash. I don't know if I'll get to run something like this at Lethal Weapons. I don't know what kind of restrictions they have, because I know in a lot of the stuff I was reading, you can't change the silhouette of the firearm. So I don't really know how this would play into it. I may actually have to like get a chest-mounted GoPro or something in that case, or get the you know, the straps with the harness and all that junk. But that'll be some conversations I have with those guys just to see what I can and can't do. But this is what I just wanted to share with you guys today. There's some things that you need to be mindful of if you're going to be running those matches. Something else to think about is I would also recommend that you bring a cooler. Maybe a poncho or rain gear just in case it rains, because it's usually rain or shine. Definitely bring a cooler because it's going to be in Texas. It's going to be hot. You're going to definitely want something to drink and not get dehydrated. Like I said, guys, I had every intention of going to Klash Bash, but unfortunately that just wasn't going to happen this year. I hate it. I really wanted to. I've been planning for it since like October, November of last year, and you know, sometimes things just don't work out that way. And I'm not faulting my buddy for it. I mean, crap, you get sick all the time. I mean, can't control that. But I just wasn't going to do that to him. I couldn't bring myself to do it. It's like, no, I'm not going by myself and making you pay, you know, your half and all that crap when you can't even go. It's just not right. So hopefully he and I will get to go to Lethal Weapons this year. I do kind of like the whole idea behind Lethal Weapons. You can use a lot more wider variety of weapons. You can use a lot of vintage stuff. And I can take full advantage of that. I do have AKs, obviously, but I got a lot of vintage rifles as well. But anyway, just wanted to kind of give you guys some ideas if you plan for matches in the future, especially if you're thinking about Klash Bash for next year. Just some things to think about. Like I said, I was hoping this was going to be first in that series of videos for Klash Bash, but yeah, it's just not happening this year, unfortunately. everybody's sorry for all the splicing. Inevitably, I keep forgetting about things to include in this. One of the things I did not mention here, let me get this out of the way so you guys can see it, is this tactical belt, this V2 tactical belt made by Bear Arms Tactical. Found that on Amazon. Just going to show you this real quick. The way this works, so this is a Molly tactical belt. So the way it works is you have an inner belt. I think Clay's actually got one similar to this. You got an inner belt. I don't know if he actually runs one. Take that back. You have an inner belt that's all Velcro that you put through your belt loops. And then you have an outer belt, which has the other side of that Velcro, the hook and loop fasteners, and has Molly loops all the way across it. Additionally, it's got, you know, the quick detach buckle on it. So, you know, it's nothing fancy, but this is something that you're going to want to use. If you're not going to run a vest, this is something that you're going to want to consider for these taco style G-code mag pouches. Now, last item of interest, and I'll be done, is the fact that you're also going to need something to put your spent mags in, or something to have excess rounds in. So one of those things is a dump pouch, and this one was just one I got off Amazon. I think it's made by Wynex, W-Y-N-E-X Tactical. You've got your loops back here for your belt. The nice thing is when this is on your belt, I'll try to demonstrate this as much as possible. And they have videos out there. So you have a little pull tab here. Well, you can yank this pull tab up, and it comes open like that. And the cool thing is that allows you to dump spent mags in here. It's actually quite large, and then on top of that, there's actually a elastic band, pull strap or whatever, to basically close that top off. Now that's pretty cool. That can hang on your belt loop, on the back, whatever. It's just another nice thing to have for spent mags, loose rounds, whatever you got to have. You can throw other stuff in here too. I mean, this is a rather large pouch. It was fairly cheap. I want to say it was less than 20 bucks. It is, it's got the mesh on the bottom. So if you pick up a mag, it's got some dirt in it, some sand in it, it'll at least drop free, and it's not getting collected in the bottom of that mag pouch. I like this. It's got, I think it's got like a piece of metal or cable in here that allows it to kind of hold its shape once it opens up, kind of once you deploy it. But in the interim, the nice thing is you can take this and just kind of fold it up like so. Just roll it a few times, and then just put your strap back on it, and it is nice and compact, quite small. So that's the last thing I wanted to mention here, just to kind of show you guys all the stuff that you might want to consider when you do run a match like this. But as always, guys, I want to thank you to my subscribers. Thank you guys for all your likes, your shares, your comments. Hopefully this helped you out. I don't know if it did. Let me know in the comment section below what setup you guys are running. I'm curious, especially people that have been running this for a while, because I've never ran a match, and this is what I'm going to be using when I do run a match. Just not Klash Bash this year, unfortunately. But anyway, just wanted to share this with you guys, and as always, thank you guys for watching. Until next time, you guys have a great day.